still there.
Welcome back, fellow cake eaters. This time at Adventure Airsoft we are going to cover two things in this video. The first one is the first video, the first game with the Wolverine MTW 7-inch. So we're going to have a look at that with this open game, and also it's the first game, first match at Redworks Airsoft. There is another video that accompanies this and a site review on the website www.adventureairsoft.com. So have a look at that and check that out. So to start with then, just setting the scene, we are at around the centre of the map, which is called the Somme. It's called the Somme for a reason. As you can see, it's pretty boggy. It's pretty bog in there. We've had a lot of rain over the last couple of days before this, and the trenches that you can see dotted around are actually completely flooded. So yeah, it's fitting to call it the Somme. Our objectives then is to start just before the Somme here, look around all the buildings for bags of cash. Sadly, the rest of our friendly forces pushed way past these buildings in sort of a really quick succession to try and, I don't know, take some ground or find some more bags of cash, but they end up missing this bag of cash here that was located within 100 yards of where they started. So we grab this bag of cash, then we're going to decide where we're going to do. What we're going to do. Come up with a bit of a plan. A plan of action is to basically scout round the northeastern flank to our right hand side, as you can see now, to where that tree line is, and then push up to try and find the village of where we have to drop the bag off. In the meantime though, let's talk about the weapon. So the weapon is my first MTW, Wolverine MTW 7-inch. There is an accompanying other videos to this, and I will put a video, embed it into these videos, a link to it, which is the box opening or the unopening of the of the box, which you'll find amusing, because I did. So I found the gun very easy to set up prior to this. Unlike the Tipman I've used previously, this weapon is regulated off the tank as opposed to an internal regulator in the gun. And it took literally a couple of minutes to dial it in, because it runs at sub 100 psi. I think this was set at around 70 or 80 psi, only the top of my head, which is obviously quite low compared to the Tipman, which was around, I presume, around 800 psi plus, because as soon as you got near 1000 psi in the bottle, it started to play up. So yeah, very easy to set up, very easy to connect and disconnect, unlike the Tipman. But did find it surprisingly light, also in comparison, mainly because I think of all of the regulatory stuff in the grip, etc., from the Tipman. But yeah, easy to set up, easy to get going, easy to manoeuvre around. Again, I wanted a 7-inch gun or a 7-inch barrel because I like that sort of shorter weapon system, because I've been used to SA80s and stuff in the past. At the minute here, it's our first foray into foliage and into slightly more built-up areas, and you'll see the range on this gun throughout the game is actually pretty good. Very comparable to the 10.2-inch or 10.3-inch barrels from the longer Wolverine. Certainly, what I was getting with my my buddy there I went to with Matt. He's got the MTW 10.3-inch, and it was very comparable in range. Also on sound as well, they both sounded very much alike, although Matt's got a suppressor and we've got a suppressor review coming. So we've got a clip-on suppressor that's coming in the works.
This is where we were before.
The site though, the Redworks site, there is a site review also that accompanies this video, and suitable write-ups again on the website. The site combines, as you can see, a large trenched area with built-up buildings to quite heavily foliage grassed areas, and this side of the site forward, as you can see into the distance, there is some quite heavy thick trees. So it is quite a good mix, and they do have a sort of CQB village as well, which is quite condensed, quite small, meat grindery kind of games. With the current game though, you can see we're sort of trying to snuggle our way in here, get into this woodland to try and look through the woodland and see what's in the buildings, because the buildings are where we were supposed to drop the money off. We'll let this scene play for a couple of minutes so you can see the gun in action, see a little bit of action from ourselves, and then I'll come back to annoy you a little bit more later on.
Oh, that's no good. Hey, ready.
So, whilst I'm waiting for Matt to get across and revive me, you can see the gun is it's fairly manoeuvrable. Currently set to 3-round bursts on auto, and the reason for that is because, well, mainly because it came out of the factory like that, and that's what I decided to leave it as. But I quite like 3-round bursts. It doesn't allow me to, you know, completely empty the entire magazine all in one go, and it keeps me sort of on the straight and narrow. You can adjust that. You can basically turn the gun. You can do a different cycle with the gun, and you can change the 3-round burst back to full auto if you wish. You can hear that the gun is fairly quiet, even without a suppressor on. But the suppressor we're currently running on the gun goes from around 70 to 75 decibels, which is current state. Drops that right down to 33 decibels, which is pretty impressive. And you'll obviously see a video of that and a review of the suppressor, what make it is, etc.
How the fuck do we get this thing in there then? Cheers, Matt. You okay? Yeah. Good. Try and camp out here.
So now we've extracted from that location. I've been medicked and back in. We're going to use this tree in front of us now as a sort of bit of a hold-up position. Basically, just to our right, we've got a footpath that we were on that you saw a second ago, and to our left, we've got another adjacent footpath that basically they both converge into a point directly in front of us, about 50 yards, something like that. And that is the main thoroughfare of the enemy forces and their respawn coming towards this way. So we're going to try and sort of steady ourselves here. As is quite a good cover and quite a dense tree, there's 2 or 3 of us here. What really annoys me though is quite a few times during the day at this site, a bunch of people just randomly wants to just stand there and do nothing. So you'll see in a second that as soon as we get under fire, everyone sort of cowers behind the tree, and there's a lot of good couple of hits here, good couple of kills. I don't think they really saw where the hits were coming from, because we were quite well camouflaged in there, and it's quite dense. Always got to try and make sure that if you are on a tree line, that the tree line isn't sort of on the higher ground, and you've also got you're blacked out behind you, so you've got no silhouette behind you showing you through the tree. But on the gun though, just finishing off what we were talking about before. So as you can see in the gun, we do have our face cam mounted, exactly the same mount that I took off my Tipman. So it houses a cube, a Polaroid cube camera, which is kind of like a little action camera. Very, very similar sort of idea to the GoPro Hero Session. But yeah, that mounts is waterproof, shockproof, etc. And mounts really easily to the rail system. What I've noticed is the M-LOK rail system on the gun itself then is really well finished, really precise, and it fits. If you've got a really accurate set of Picatinny rails for M-LOK, you know, if they're quite well machined and good tolerances, it fits really, really well. So that's what I'm really impressed with. The machining quality is fantastic of it. Again, trigger group, everything just seemed really, really well sorted. You know, it got battered here. The first couple of games, later on in the day were raining. So we got a bit of rain in there as well. And even though I've not gone with a waterproof circuit board, didn't have any problems with water. Didn't have any problems with feeding, apart from the magazine that came with it. Now, you'll see it when I did do the unboxing, or done the unboxing, that the magazine struggled. The issued magazine from them struggled to fit the gun very well. It was really tight, and when it did fit, when I used it later on in the video, it was absolutely terrible. I put the magazine on, I'd get 1 or 2 rounds, and then it would stop. It just would not feed rounds through. And after chatting to people on the forums and things, It seems like it's a very common thing with their magazines, and certainly for a premium weapon here that costs, you know, plus £600 or 600 UK pounds, it's it's terrible. You know, you can buy a £100 G&G and the magazine will work. I was just really shocked that the magazine's terrible. They have said they are sending me a new magazine through the post, but I shouldn't have had to do that to make it work. But anyhow, the other thing we've got mounted to the gun is the same battered red dot on top there, and it's been shot out a couple of times. So I've got I just keep running some spare Gorilla Glass for it, and just keep changing it if it ends up going. But this glass has lasted quite a while there. Just get another one cut and then chuck it on. So about £15. Torch, because the rail system is quite short on this, and obviously it's not going to go very far from between the torch and the actual pressure plate. I've had to cut and shorten the wiring from the pressure plate just so it fits through. It looks a little bit tidier. My next challenge is to spray the weapon back up to how I like it, how it was before on the Tippmann. So just a bit of commonality there, and when the suppressor's on, it's going to look pretty good. And that's it. That's all I'm going to end up doing for it. I don't have sort of expensive slings or anything like that. And you'll see a more mocked up, better version as I'm running it through on the channel, but also on the website.
Here. They'll come back round. Little skirmish team.
So as you can see through the woods here, it's quite easy to move the weapon system around because it's quite small, quite a short weapon. What is really good, actually, I found out, is the same site has got a indoor CQB area. Not the best, but you'll see that on the review. I don't want to give you too much away, but to transition from left to the right hand side of the gun is really easy. Really what I wanted out of the gun. I mean, the Tippmann was fantastic at that anyway. Good transitions. And I genuinely think it's going to be a really good sort of companion on my Airsoft Adventures. So I thoroughly recommend you at least trying one. If you see me around at any of the Northwest venues, or just ask for a quick go. No dramas to have a quick go, having a quick pot on a few targets, etc. A bit of plinking, and have a go with it. Because that's the only way people are going to decide whether they want to buy stuff, is to have a quick go. So. The first game then for the Wolverine MTW 7-inch was a success. It was a great location to test a bit of range, a bit of CQB, and also some dense woodland, moving around, bit of transitioning. It was a good venue for it, and as it's a brand new venue, it was challenging to not only learn what was included in the venue, but also to get used to the gun and see how it works and get its faults, quibbles, that kind of stuff. But glad to say that it didn't have any faults on the day. It performed faultlessly in wet weather, cold weather. What was interesting as well is it's far more frugal on air compared to the Tippmann. So by the end of the day here, I only had a 2000 psi in my tank. Bit of an error on my part. But it also had, at the end of the day, it still had about 500-600 psi, and it was still working absolutely fine because it was a lot higher than the gun is set to. Whereas the Tippmann would start to drop off at around anything less than 1000 psi, which is really interesting. Good venue. Gun, I say, was faultless. Really happy with it. Not really anything really change apart from giving it a spray up. But to get an idea of what the rest of the site's like, please see the Redworks video that's on the beginning of this video, but also you can see it up on the screen hopefully around now, and you'll get a link to it in some site reviews, so please check that out. I really appreciate people watching some of the videos and putting some commentary on, and comments on the bottom. So please, add your comments, what you thought of the weapon, if you've got these weapons before, if you had any problems with them yourselves, if you're thinking about getting one. I'm always intrigued to see what people's thoughts are. If you've got good or bad comments, chuck them on, doesn't bother me. If you want if there's things you don't like about what I do, please chuck it in there and I'll try and improve it. If there's something you want to see, or a site you think I should go to, Northwest, etc., that I may not have included, please, let me know. But I thank you for your time and watching the video. Please hit us up on www.adventureairsoft.com and have a look at the blog there. You can sign up, and then you'll end up getting automatic responses from when new blogs hit the site. We have got a lot of cool stuff coming, so please subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get a notification. But again, give us some comms and let us know how we're getting on. So yeah, thanks again, much appreciated. I'll leave you for the run out now, and hopefully I'll see you on the field. Take care, fellow cake eaters. See you later. Bye bye.
No idea.
Everyone's just all the way up. There's no way.